Hello, and today let's ask the question, is The Last of Us Season 2 trash? In today's video, let's look back at the entire season and review what I liked about the season and what I didn't like, and most importantly answering, is this season complete and utter trash, or did The Last of Us Season 2 hit the landing? So let's jump right into this with the positives. I really enjoy the visuals of the season, it looks amazing. And I think the Infected are way better in this season. We got 2 big Infected episodes. However, only half the episodes have Infected. You have the finale, which is a bit lackluster. So you could be a bit lacking if you're going in for an Infected show. There's not really much Infected outside of big moments, which does suck. It makes the world does feel a little empty at times, I do have to say. But trying to remain positive, I really enjoy the Joel stuff. I'm going to be very clear, very specific. It is the Joel stuff I really enjoy. In Isolation, episode 6 is really good. In Isolation, of course. Episode 1, episode 2, both very strong episodes, and I really like all the stuff they added to the story, and delaying Joel's death to episode 2 not being episode 1. I think that's really, really good. And the way Joel's death plays out, I think, is far superior to the games. I prefer the events of episode 1 and 2 than the prologue of the game. I think they definitely did cook there. It's just a shame those were the only 2 good episodes or phenomenal episodes in this season. It's very weird how you went from this quality to that quality, but focus on the Joel's death is way more tasteful, way more way done, and I really like how they show everyone else is way more conflicted about killing Joel. And I don't like how overly brutal it is. It's a bit toned down. And the other thing I can say positive about the season is definitely the casting of the new characters. I think Jesse was perfectly cast, Dina superior than the game, and even Abby, I thought she was better cast, and the core characters in Abby's group, they're very well done. Even you have Jeffrey Wright coming back to play the same character he did in the game, and he's just stealing scenes in the few episodes he's in. I think few, I say he's in 2 episodes. So that is great. However, that is all the positives, and that's the only good things I can say about season 2. The rest of this season is a complete and utter mess, with each episode going up and down in quality. Look at my individual reviews where I'm like a 6 or 7 for episode 1 and episode 2, and then it's a 3 or 4 for episode 3, all the way up to a very high for episode 4, and then it just keeps fluctuating. This is a very mixed season, and it gives me almost fear levels of consistency with, oh, a fantastic episode, The Last of Us is back, oh, and it's terrible again. And it's definitely to do with the shoddy writing. They try to stay loyal to the games structurally, and then they change so much about the story, and it's like, why are you staying loyal in that aspect but changes so much in this aspect? You're just giving us this weird whiplash with them trying to please everybody, and they are failing in my opinion. And it leads us with this mess with a lot of scenes, and definitely some episodes are just very dialogue heavy, but the dialogue is very tell not show. It's really annoying. This is a multi-million-dollar per episode show, and we're getting almost CW level of quality. And by that I mean we're getting very heavy dialogue episodes like episode 3 where nothing happens. This is a 7 episode season, and we have 2 filler episodes. Episode 3 and episode 6 are both filler episodes. There is only really 5 episodes of story. Why? Why are you stretching out the story that much? Oh yeah, because they want to stretch out the game to last 3 seasons. When they told the first game in 1 season, you could have told the second game in 2 seasons, but no, HBO want money. And now they're stretching out the game, which has made this season very boring with filler episodes and terrible pacing in the actual episodes which actually have story. They are trying to rush through certain aspects and they're dragging their heroes through other aspects, and it really makes it really annoying and hard to watch at times. However, the issues don't end there. There is also a massive issue with writing, and the dialogue in this season. For some reason, the showrunners forgot how to write dialogue and forgot to do the whole thing you're meant to do with shows and writing is you're meant to show not tell. For some reason, they got the memo tell not show, and you get episodes like episode 3, which is just tell not show, and everything to do with Abby is tell not show. Why are we having Abby stop the Joel torture scene so that she can go on a monologue about, oh, you killed my dad, you did this? Why are we not seeing this? This is a failure in writing. Did somebody not go to like basic school or something to understand? Like even when you went to school in the UK, you would understand the basics about how to write a story. You know, you get told, don't just tell everything. You're meant to show it through your writing. And we're not getting that. We're just getting, oh, this happened. We're not being shown anything. It's just characters talking about what's happened and how they're feeling. It's like, this is not writing. This is boring. And this is poor. And that's the entire season. Even the episodes I think are better than others do absolutely suck in this case because you have the terrible writing and the terrible dialogue. There are some massive memes of this season now, like the I'm gonna be a dad scene. It's very weird. We're getting a lot of just random terrible writing when season 1 is right there, and we can see these writers are good. But what happened with their writing? Where did they go? Was it a fluke season 1? Because season 2, I'm not seeing any of that talent which went into the first season. The next thing I want to talk about, it might be a very small thing, is the soundtrack. Basically, none of the soundtrack from the game was used in this season. For some reason, they just reused season 1's soundtrack a lot of time and introduced new music. Why, if you're going to have season 1 use the game soundtrack, you're not going to do the same for the second game? It seems weird. Like, what the hell? It's a very small thing. I just thought the soundtrack was a little boring. And finally, my biggest issue, Ellie. Everything about Ellie in this season absolutely sucks. And there's nothing on Bella Ramsey. However, I don't like how they wrote in Ellie. She is shown as completely incompetent throughout this entire season. She gets into scrapes all the time. She's treated like an idiot by absolutely everyone. And then proves that she's an idiot every single time. Why are we meant to have this be our main protagonist when she is a complete and utter weapon and can't do anything without being saved by someone else? She managed to get in so many scrapes, and most of the time she is saved by someone else. Like the whole issue in episode 5, Jessie saves her. She never really gets around doing anything by herself without something going wrong. And you can see a lot of characters do treat her like she's dumb. It's really annoying with the writing around Ellie when she's meant to be the protagonist. And on top of that, she is written inconsistently with her mental state. For some reason, this is meant to be the depression, angry rage Ellie, but she's going around joking and doing stuff like this. Some people say she's masking. However, we never really see her on her own to prove that. So we can't say she's masking because we're not shown her actually masking. And with the commentary about episode 5 being the start of her revenge story, so what was episode 3 and 4 then? And then it just gets so much worse because in the final episode, Ellie keeps flipping her mind on does she want to go home or does she want to get revenge, and she keeps flipping back and forth, and it makes Ellie really inconsistent and really hard to watch. This season didn't set up Ellie as a new protagonist, it set up Ellie as the most annoying thing in this show because of how incompetent she is and how poorly written she is. I can see they were trying to change Ellie because people didn't like how miserable she was in the game, but it worked. You now have a very inconsistent Ellie who feels like she doesn't care that Joel died, and the only people that care that Joel died is Dina. For some reason, Dina actually expresses more sadness and emotion over Joel's death than Ellie does after that one scene in episode 3. It is really poor writing, and it's just there to make me really annoyed and really dislike Ellie. And probably when season 3 comes out, I'll be happy that it's an Abby-centric season because I don't have to see Ellie again, because after this season, I'm pretty much done with her character for how poorly she was written. So going back to the original question, is The Last of Us Season 2 trash? Yes, it is. This season is just inconsistent, really boring, and just really hard to watch a lot of the times. There are some bright moments, but I really could not recommend this season, and I would say stop at season 1. Season 1 has a good enough ending, And this season reminds me of House of the Dragon Season 2, where Season 1 is amazing and Season 2 absolutely sucks. I would give this a 3.5 out of 10. It is an absolutely trash season, and it's a 3.5 out of 10 in my opinion. However, this is just my thoughts, so please tell me down below. Did you like this season? Did you hate this season? I'd like to know all your thoughts down in the comments.